what is smart? Book smarts? Street smarts? IQ? EQ? Can it be tested? Taught? Bought? Now that's not smart. Or is it? Let's expand our minds, people. Smart is her. It's him. And they don't care if you judge them. They're not in pursuit of a fallback career. They're in pursuit of purpose. Smart is crafting your why. It's knowing failure is success in progress. It's picking a college that prepares you for any challenge. It's finding your calling and your place to become. So, what kind of smart are you?
Hello, Broncos. My name is Kristen DeVries, and I'll be serving as your host tonight for this production of Live from Kalamazoo. To all of you in Southern California, first of all, I have to say a very big thank you for the warm weather. It was 60 degrees in Kalamazoo today and very sunshiny. So for the first time, I didn't have to wear my tights and boots. So thank you for all of your warm thoughts that you headed in our direction so that we could have this great weather. I know that this evening you may be coming home from your job at Fox Sports or at Boeing. You might have graduated from food marketing and now you work at Hormel. Maybe you're an engineer, or you could be one of our hundreds of entrepreneurs. But all 3,000 of you, welcome. Earlier today, I had the chance to catch up with President Edward Montgomery, and we talked a little bit about how much we love Southern California and what we're hoping to do when we get back there, as well as some of the work that's going on at WMU today that impact your region and what is coming next. Stay tuned. Well, good evening, President Montgomery.
Good evening.
I think that our warm weather today is thanks to our many Broncos down there in Southern California, so we appreciate their warm thoughts and sending stuff our way. The last time I was there was a little over a year ago at a conference in San Diego, and I cannot wait to get back. I know you've spent some time in Southern California as well. Tell me about some great times that you've been there.
Well, actually, within a week of taking the job, I guess it was, I got to go with the rest of the Broncos out to watch the USC Western game out at the campus there. It was an incredibly warm day, but we had lots of Broncos out in attendance. A great football game that went down to the wire. The team was competing against the USC team, which was supposed to be one of the best in the country, and the Broncos held their own up until the very last minute. It was a great football game, a great chance for the community to get together, but it was also a great way for me to see what Broncos were about. Because one of the things which was noteworthy about that game is one of the last plays of the game, USC scored a touchdown, and they had a student athlete who had a physical challenge, and their coach had asked Coach Lester whether that student could get onto the field for the extra point, and that we would agree to no physical contact. And Coach Lester said yes. They brought this student out. All of our athletes, without being asked to, stood up. And the extra point was successful, and that person got to fulfill one of their life's ambitions. And it was a gesture of sportsmanship in the context of a very heatedly contested game, which told me something about Western and the values and the kind of people and the quality institution that we have here.
That was a great introduction to WMU.
It was indeed. It was indeed. And so, I've had a couple of subsequent trips to Southern California, San Diego, and it's a vibrant community. It's an art community. It's an entertainment community. We've got Broncos in a whole range of industries. It's a community also that has some challenges, not least of which is it took us a fair bit of time to get around in our transportation. And so those were parts of the experiences. But we at Western, not surprisingly, being a Michigan place, have transportation in our DNA as well. And so it reminded me of our Transportation Research Center and the work that's being done there. The work has some pillar looking at autonomous vehicles and energy efficiency associated with those vehicles. Zach Asher, one of our faculty, is working on that with a number of the car companies. But Western takes a slightly different twist than other places. We have the engineering and thinking about the structure and how do you make the vehicle go, but our work is also looking at the human interaction with that vehicle. What does it mean when this autonomous vehicle is guiding down our streets? What's the reaction with pedestrians? And particularly, as you know, Western has had a long history of thinking about blindness and low vision studies. How do pedestrians who might have those challenges interact with this new transportation center? So our research does the engineering, but also brings in that human dimension, looks at that human interaction. And so we bring not only engineers and computer scientists you might expect at a problem, but also behavioral analysis, blindness and low vision studies people, people from psychology and social work, because we're interested in how does transportation interact with us as humans in a holistic kind of way.
It's an incredible time to be at Western. It's also an incredible time to be in Southern California, and I know when I have been there, so many of our alumni are entrepreneurs, or they're working in the entrepreneurial space. Maybe they're funding them, or they're working at a startup, or what have you. And we have some pretty exciting new entrepreneurial initiatives here at Western. Could you describe it for us?
Sure. We have this wonderful new Center for Principled Leadership. It's established by two faculty members in our business school that is looking to teach students actual hands-on business experience, looking at how do they start companies, how do they maintain companies, how do they think about everything from the marketing to the product distribution. We have Bronco Nist Wine as part of this effort. It provides funding for students for scholarships, but also teaches them how to develop a product, how to market a product, and all of that goes into it. They have an 8-week seminar that they also put on, which gives a certificate called Acquire, which tells people to think about what are the companies that you might want to buy and how would you operate those companies, which is particularly important in Michigan, where there's an awful lot of family-owned companies. And those companies did great, but now they're in that generational period. And so who's going to take over them next? How are you going to operate them? And that's a real source of growth and opportunities for our students to actually get hands-on experience while they're earning their degree.
And I believe they even have a fund.
They do. I think it's called the Acquire Fund, and that fund, again, gives resources for people to think about which are the companies you might want to buy. How do you not just talk about it in theory, but how do you do it in reality? And that's what's really special here. The companies bring their problems to our students are working with entrepreneurs as part of their boards. And so from the day they walk in, whether they're a business student, whether they're an art student, whether they're an engineering student, because it's open to students across all kinds of majors who might want to run all kinds of organizations. You might want to run a for-profit, but you might also want to run a non-profit. And so all that's part of this exciting new curriculum.
That's not the only change that has happened over the last few years at Western. You've been here almost 4 years. What other changes have you seen on our campus?
Well, you know, Western has changed, some of it physically and some of it programmatically. The physical changes are about providing the kind of environment for 21st century students that they need. There was a day where there wasn't a need for internet, there wasn't a need for connectivity, and so we had Elmwood Apartments, which you may recall from your days in the campus, which were those old Quonset hut living buildings that many people look back on not too favorably, or Draper and Schlieslog, which people had more affection to, but were 40 years out of date. And so we've taken those buildings down. We've built a brand new residence hall, Arcadia Flats. It has the latest technology. It also is designed explicitly to get students out of their room, to get them into common spaces, to get them interacting where we can provide them programming and support and technology so that they can learn in the ways that 21st century students interact. The place has about 197 apartments in it. has a great view. I remember when I took a tour, there was a corner apartment that I said, I want this one for myself. I was ready to move in. It's absolutely gorgeous as a student experience. It's both a place to put your head, but more importantly, it's a place to build that connection, to build that educational thing, to expose students to opportunities. And it interacts very well with what we're trying to do on the programmatic side. We've changed everything from our core curriculum, that basic set of classes that everybody has to take. It took us 35 years, but we've changed that. We've updated it. We've modernized it. We've realized that the skills that students need now are different than when I went to school. And so we've modernized the core curriculum. We are also trying to think about that connectivity between what you do out of class and what you do in class. How do we also connect you between your classroom and the world of work? And so we're trying to make this holistic system for students so that they can find their passion, integrate it with their curriculum, and then find a career that allows them to fulfill it. All that we're calling sort of rethinking smart, or jobs from day one. And so if you know and you come and you want to be a chemical engineer, we can help you find that path. But if you come like I did, and you're not sure what you want to do, or thought you initially want to do engineering, but then changed your mind, or wanted to do medicine and wanted to do something different, we're also available and helpful for that student in transition who's not quite sure what they want, or thought they wanted something and needs to go to a different, or not quite sure what they want to do with it. And so how do we expose them to that? So beefed up, enhanced career services, a lot more emphasis on flexibility and changing and helping people adapt to a different world, supported by services, our signature program, which helps people see what things outside of the classroom are their passion. How do they integrate it into their learning? How do they integrate it into their life? Because we certainly want a career that pays off. 94% of our students get a job within a short period of time in their major, doing what they like, fulfilling their skills. We want to do more of that. But they also want to be well-rounded citizens. They want to live complete lives. And so we focus on mental health and those support services to go with it. All of that's about putting out Broncos who are ready to take on the world.
That was a pretty good ad campaign, I think. But we would love all of our alumni to certainly be serving as advocates for us. And you are both the president of WMU as well as the parent of an alum. So if you were to give advice to some of our alums and say, this is how you can help us in recruiting students, how would you like them to help us do that?
You know, I think our alums have a story, at least from those I've met, which is very similar to my son's story. They came to Western, they were given an opportunity, and what made Western particularly special was not just being given the opportunity, but finding somebody on that campus, a faculty member, a staff member, maybe even a fellow student who was there to support you, to push you, to give you sometimes that tough love, sometimes that helping hand. And my son found that. He found an advisor in the business school who was absolutely wonderful for him. And she connected him, she pointed him in a direction, she goosed him and pushed him when he needed that extra boost. And he found a career that he loved. He found a community of friends that he got connected to. And he's gone on now to live the kind of life you hope for your kids. And it started at Western. And it started at Western with somebody who went that extra mile. And so that's what has been our historical strength. That's what we're continuing to try and emphasize. It's that campus with lots of opportunities, lots of choices, but with that real human touch, that human interaction that lifts up, supports, and pushes people through.
So, any last words to encourage our Broncos out there on the West Coast?
Well, it's always a great day to be a Bronco, and we look forward to having opportunities soon to get together with you again.
Can't wait to see all of you with President Montgomery in Southern California in the coming months. Thanks, everybody. Hello again. Next, we have a special treat. A young woman named Sophia, who is a current student at WMU, is going to tell you a little bit about her story. Last fall, we had 67 freshmen from Southern California join us, and a lot of them are just as fantastic as Sophia, who came to us from Valencia High School in Santa Clarita, California. Sophia?
Hi, I am Sophia Belfay. I'm a sophomore here at Western, and I'm a double major in musical theater performance and film, video, and media studies. I am from Santa Clarita, California, which is a suburb in the northern area of the county of Los Angeles. It is beautiful. It, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful places in this country. It is one of my favorite places ever. My alma mater is Valencia High School. I was very heavily involved in my choral and theater department at my high school. I'm so blessed and lucky because I was able to travel the world with them, perform in some very, very highly acclaimed places. I was competing pretty professionally with my high school choir all 4 years that I was in high school. We traveled all throughout California, but also I've sung in Carnegie Hall in New York, sung at the Pearl Harbor Memorial in Hawaii. I have sung in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. I would have never had some of the most incredible experiences of my life if it was not for that program. I learned about Western actually through some of the faculty here in the Fine Arts Department. I knew the second I got here that it was the perfect place for me. I am able to do all of the different things that I love in totality and with all of my heart and with all of my energy. I'm supported in every single niche that I want to do, and I'm getting such a quality education in every aspect, and that combination was just really important for me. It took a lot of research to look all over the country for a really great fine arts program, and Western really had it all, in my opinion, because I can do everything I want to do, get a really quality education, every specific field that I'm interested in. In a field that is so highly competitive, you have to believe in yourself and never, ever, ever give up. The community here is incredible. I was a little nervous about coming here so far from home, but I have absolutely found my family here, some of the closest friends I've ever had, some of the most incredible teachers I've ever had. It's an incredible community here. I would say I miss the sun. I miss the sunshine. I miss my family. I miss my dog. My favorite sushi restaurant. I miss that. Everything back by me is like a chain, and it's like 50 Starbuckses on like one street, and it feels so busy. But here, there are such lovely little quiet nooks to go find yourself and study or hang out with a friend, and I love that. And we have so many adventures, and we're all pursuing what we love the most together, and we're all working towards that same end goal. And so it's really wonderful to have fun, but also work really hard alongside these awesome people. I want to thank my faculty specifically here at Western. I am getting just such incredible education and support like no other. Just the softest place to land. They push me to be the best I can possibly be, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am without them. There is just truly no other community like the one here at Western, because you are getting such a high-level, intense education that you would expect from a conservatory or a private university, but you're getting it here, and you're getting it alongside some of the most incredible people who are just the best and so kind, and I think that's hard to find anywhere else. And it's so incredible to be surrounded by that kind of community that will not let you fall and that will support you and lift you up so we can all get to that place we want to be.
At WMU, we certainly focus every day on helping students like Sophia be successful. But we also are very concerned that you as alumni are successful as well. Next, you'll hear from Sarah Husain, the president of your Alumni Association. She actually had experience living on the West Coast for several years and is now back in Kalamazoo. And she wants to share with you how she stays connected to Western, to her fellow alumni, and also to students, and to encourage you in multiple ways that you can also stay connected. Sarah?
Greetings from Kalamazoo, fellow Broncos. I'm Sarah Husain, president of the WMU Alumni Association. Thank you for welcoming me into your home tonight. I was born and raised in Kalamazoo, so this is my home. During high school, I took a campus tour of Western and fell in love with all that the school had to offer. As a business student, I had the opportunity to do an internship at Stryker Corporation at their Kalamazoo headquarters. After I graduated, that internship led to a full-time role at Stryker and eventually a job at Apple in San Jose, California. After spending the last 7 years in the Bay Area, I just moved back to Kalamazoo last year with my husband and daughter for a new role I took at Stryker. Whether here or on the West Coast, Western has always had a special place in my heart. Like many of you, WMU is where I studied and launched my career. It is the place where I learned the ins and outs of the classroom, and it's also the place where I developed lifelong friendships. It was these friendships with my fellow Broncos that have kept me connected to Western all these years later. As an alumni ambassador, I love sending postcards to the incoming freshman class each year, welcoming them to campus. I also have had the pleasure to be a guest judge for the WMU Medallion Scholarship Competition. And by staying connected to Western, I have the privilege of mentoring several students and young alumni, which has been an amazingly rewarding experience watching students develop into the next generation's future leaders. As alumni, we are part of a community of over 250,000 Broncos who call WMU their alma mater. Together, we are the WMU Alumni Association. A year ago, the association conducted a survey of our members. We have used the results of this survey to develop and offer new ways for our alumni to stay connected. First, many of you are participating in the WMU Alumni Book Club. Together, we are reading and discussing our 5th book using our specially developed online platform. Second, this past year, we launched the Campus Chat series. These Zoom meetings reunite alumni with some of their favorite campus faculty and staff for a casual conversation. Our next Campus Chat is March 24th, featuring Mark Delory, the former Director of Financial Aid. We've also scheduled a chat on April 15th with Diane Anderson, Vice President of our Student Affairs. For over 2 decades, Diane has been a champion for students, working tirelessly to ensure that each student at WMU has a chance to succeed. We're excited to have an informal conversation with both Mark and Diane in the coming weeks, and we look forward to your participation. Third, we plan to launch an oral history project to collect and preserve your Bronco story. Be on the lookout for more information for this project in the coming months. And finally, we are looking forward to our first ever WMU Alumni Spirit Week in April. Please mark your calendars and join us for a jam-packed week full of fun Bronco events starting on April 11th. During the Alumni Spirit Week, we will debut this year's Distinguished Alumni Award recipients. We will also host several virtual reunion gatherings, and we will raise funds for student scholarships during WMU's Giving Day. For more information about our Alumni Spirit Week and all the other incredible networking opportunities and events our Alumni Association has to offer, please visit our website, wmualumni.org. That's wmualumni.org. So, my fellow Broncos, I want to thank you for your dedication to Western. As members of the WMU Alumni Association, you are part of a global network of Broncos who are connected through our shared experiences as WMU students. Even if you haven't stayed involved in the past, I want you to know that the WMU Alumni Association is here for you to connect to Western and to the rest of your Bronco family. You are important to us, and we really hope you'll stay in touch. Have a wonderful night, and don't forget, it's always a great day to be a Bronco.
Welcome once again. What would a nighttime talk show be without music? And tonight we have a very special performance for you from Sophia. She is indeed a musical theater student in the world-renowned College of Fine Arts, and she is now going to share a song with you.
It's very clear
Our love is here to stay, not for a year, but forever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time they go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. Our love is here to stay. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know, they may just be passing fancies, and in time they go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. Our love is here to stay.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I had a lot of fun, and I'm hoping you did too. But I would like to hear from you. So if there's something else you would like more information on, or if we can improve, or if you'd just like us to do this again, I would love to know. Please email me. My email address is kristen.devries@wmich.edu. You can also just log on to our website at wmualumni.org. And while you're composing that email to me, we'd like to leave you this evening with a performance from some of our faculty at the School of Music. This is the Western Jazz Collective featuring Kevin Jones on percussion. Thanks so much. Good night.
What is smart? Book smarts? Street smarts? IQ? EQ? Can it be tested? Taught? Bought? Now that's not smart. Or is it? Let's expand our minds, people. Smart is her. It's him. And they don't care if you judge them. They're not in pursuit of a fallback career. They're in pursuit of purpose. Smart is crafting your why. It's knowing failure is success in progress. It's picking a college that prepares you for any challenge. It's finding your calling and your place to become. So, what kind of smart are you?